never made it, but I know what it takes. I'm motivated by a mix of emotion. Got my statement, and I'm reading it slow so I can understand it fully. Appreciate my standing, go out of this world and right on time. Oh, never in my life have I seen the sky light up like this. I'm far away from Earth and I wanna know if you exist. Mission control, do you read me? Send me my coordinates lately. Mission control, am I drifting? Tie me to someone who will love me, yeah. Wait, I think I'll last a bit longer. Fine.
Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone to another Ref Brandon and the Todd family YouTube video. Wherever you are, whatever you may be doing, thank you so much for making Ref Brandon and the Todd family a part of your day. We always greatly appreciate it. Today here on the channel, I'm going to preview another college football team's schedule as we continue counting down the days to the beginning of the 2024 college football season. Now, a lot of people start counting down the days in February or March. I think that's just absolutely ridiculous. To me, it makes it seem even longer until the season starts because you're like 200, 199, 198, and you're getting so excited 6 months out. There's no sense in that. So usually when it gets to about 100 days, which is a little more than 3 months, I start counting down the days until Clemson football starts, because to me, college football doesn't start until Clemson kicks off. That's when the real football starts. But this year, if you are counting down the days and you are counting down the correct number of days, you have about 7 fewer days to count, because we have a game on August the 24th, which I believe is the first game of the season, and it's going to be in Dublin, Ireland, if I'm not mistaken. And one of the two teams that's going to play in that game, I'm going to talk about today in my early season preview, and this should make my man Mike happy. He is, to my knowledge, our resident Georgia Tech fan here on the channel. And today we're going to discuss Georgia Tech. And they are playing Florida State in that game on August the 24th. And as I said earlier, I believe it's in Dublin, Ireland. I don't remember the two teams, but it seems like around 2016 or 2017, there was supposed to be a game in Dublin, Ireland, or one of the other countries at 8:30 in the morning on a Saturday, and I think it was a week or two before everybody else played. But because of weather, I believe that game ended up getting postponed. Let's hope this game doesn't get postponed. August 24th, Georgia Tech will play Florida State. On August 31st, they play Georgia State. And then in September, on the 7th, they play Syracuse. And then they play VMI on September the 14th. And then Louisville on September 21st. And then week number 6 for them, the final weekend in September, is their first bye week. And then kicking off the month of October, on October the 5th, they play the Duke Blue Devils. And then on October the 12th, they play North Carolina. And then on October the 19th, they play Notre Dame. And then wrapping up the month of October, on October 26th, they play the other Tech from Blacksburg, Virginia, the Virginia Tech Hokies. And then they're off again the first week in November, which for them is week number 11. And then week number 12, which will be game number 10, they play the Miami Hurricanes. And then they're off again on the 16th, but that's because they come back the following Thursday on November 21st, and they play the NC State Wolfpack. So instead of playing a Saturday and following that up with a Thursday, they get off on November the 16th. And then they play on the 21st on a Thursday against NC State. And then, of course, they wrap up the regular season the following weekend, Saturday, November 30th, against Georgia. Now, Haynes King should still be their quarterback. He is still there, but there's a lot of people talking about the backup being just as good as he is. But barring injury, I'll be shocked if they don't at least start the season with Haynes King. And let's hope that, for Georgia Tech's sake, the Haynes King we saw last year is the Haynes King that they'll get this year, because Haynes King last year was probably one of the biggest surprises in America, because he transferred there from Texas A&M, and at Texas A&M, he couldn't throw a forward pass. I don't know what happened. Maybe it shows just how stupid Jimbo Fisher is, but he looked absolutely hideous at A&M. And he goes to Georgia Tech, and he looked good last year. But Georgia Tech has an extremely tough schedule, especially when you're Georgia Tech. Any schedule is going to look tough when you're a 6-6, 7-5 team, because that's going to make almost every game you play a swing game. Because when you're a 6-6, 7-5 team, you're not going to play a lot of games where you're just better than the other team. And really the only games you play that you're better than the other team by far is your rinky-dink, pancake, patsy, out-of-conference games. And then if you play the worst team in your conference, that's an automatic win. Every other game is a swing game. So when you're a 6-6, 7-5 team and you play a tough schedule, it's hard to realistically look at it and say, yeah, we're going to win 10 games. You can say that by wearing your favorite team's blindfolded colors, but you can't say that realistically. Me personally, when I look at their schedule, I think they're going to go 2-2 out of conference, beating Georgia State and VMI, but losing to Notre Dame and Georgia. And then I've got them going 4-4 in the ACC with wins over Syracuse, Duke, North Carolina, and Virginia Tech, and losses to Florida State, Louisville, Miami, and NC State. Now, a couple of these games I would probably give them the advantage in if they were played at different times. For instance, you're playing NC State late November. NC State under Dave Dorn is always going to have a good defense. But they're pretty much changing their offensive philosophy. So if you were playing them early in the season, before they got their new offense under their belt, I would say I'll give Tech that game. But all the way late November, by then, it's figured out. NC State will beat them. Same way with the game right before that, Miami. Miami is completely changing their offense. If they played Miami in week 1 instead of Florida State, I'd pick Georgia Tech. But they're changing their offense, but you're not playing them till November. And I believe by November, the Hurricanes will have it figured out. Louisville could possibly be a swing game, but I've seen Brom, Louisville's head coach, running offense too many times, and I believe Louisville will put up 40 plus, and I just don't know if Georgia Tech can put up 40 plus. So I'll put them at 4-4 in the ACC, 6-6 overall. Any thoughts on this? Please feel free to let me know. Let's go ahead and get our dad joke of the day in here. If a skunk played basketball, what position would it play? Center. And that does it for today's Ref Brandon and the Todd family YouTube video. Until next time, it's Ref Brandon saying, just like in pro wrestling, life can be over by the count of 3. Tell your friends and family how much you love them. Bye.